It's got me a little worried. That box feels like it's in terrible shape.
Oh boy.
Well, the box is pretty beat up, but this plastic packaging explains the noise a little bit better. It says we've got oil shocks. There seems to be no damage from that wrecked up box.
Man, this looks good under here.
There is, however, some oily residue on the windshield, the roof, the rear window, and the rear fender. All on that left side. No indication that it's a shock. Their wire organization system consists of hot glue.
Honestly, I don't hate that. That's not the worst thing I've seen.
It's better than none. To remove the body, loosen these wing nuts, and then it'll slide off. Which also means you have a little bit of room for a body lift. Luckily, you do not have to remove the body to replace the battery. It's under the hood. The hood is magnetized. The doors open and close, but they've got a pretty cheap feel to them. Not magnets. Put a little dude in there if you want to. Battery strap isn't too bad to get off, but this crossbar is in the way. A little bit. 2-cell lithium ion. There you can see your full-size 10th scale servo. Plastic axle housings with metal axles inside. Metal suspension links. We have 4-link in the front and 4-link in the rear. Metal telescoping drive shafts front and rear. Center mounted brushed motor. Metal frame rails. Uh-oh, our wire popped out of the hot glue right there. You have a wire lead easily unplugged. Still hot glue residue. It's a separate receiver from the ESC. That's nice. Speaking of the receiver, transmitter, it's got a one-handed driving deal, but it's not super ergonomic. You have to kind of bend your thumb slightly awkwardly. And what is that?
What is that? What is that?
Well, we can refer to our one-page owner's manual, and it is a throttle signal light. So I assume it's going to light up green or something, and maybe red for brake. Here you can clearly see that 10th scale 3-wire servo, easily upgradable. There is not a servo saver on this at all. Oh, I was wrong. There is a leaking shock. This shock is leaking, or has leaked, or something. I would say this shock is where that fluid on the body came from. The tires feel good. They're soft. It definitely feels relatively grippy. Body's got a good amount of weight to it.
Is that gonna make it topple easily?
Wing nuts aren't the best body retention system, but it's not that bad. Still got to tighten them up, but that went on all right. They put the on-off switch in this really not so easy to reach location. And then once you turn it on, the servo tries to chop your finger off.
Got it. That means you could use this at least 10 times. And if you're good with your toes, even more.
I'm gonna tackle the big pile in a second. I think it might be able to do it. The suspension is decent on this. The steering is terrible. Oh, you want me to try to go up that stick? Ah, no drag brake. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I think we need more stick now.
No. No, no, come on. Oh, yeah. It's quite the incline. I don't know. Maybe. I think the tires can do it. Oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah. No drag brake. Raise this a little more. There we go. So incline test, not terrible.
Whoa! Oh God!
Stops on a dime. All right, I have a new challenge. Oh, that's not that. I'm gonna try to keep one tire on the course, one tire on here.
No, I won't turn yet.
Oh!
Yep.
I just got these extra scale accessory screws all attached. That would take about 17 decades without one of these. I almost didn't even worry about it, but it adds something.
Our latest crawler course addition is this log half right here. And the bumper catches on it. Well, problem solved. Now it's got cattle pokers on the front.
So what did they get right on this thing?
The tires. The tires are pretty good.
They grab, they're pretty soft, they're a good size. Even though it's plastic and the body itself is pretty darn cheap looking, pretty bland if you ask me, it is kind of cool that you get realistic looking scratches from the rocks out of it.
With that said, it scratches pretty easily, but that's realistic, I guess.
The doors pop open way too often, way too easily. If it rolls around a whole lot, the hood will pop open too, but it's not a big deal. The drivetrain so far seems pretty stout. We've got these pretty beefy metal drive shafts. So far, no broken links or anything. I didn't hear any clicking or clanking from the gears, even though it's fast.
Which makes it kind of fun. It can do wheelies. The motor itself is pretty underpowered.
Perhaps the worst thing is there's no drag brake. That makes it really hard to stay where you need it to stay so that you can do more maneuvering. The body is just too heavy and makes it topple happy. It really loves to do that. The steering is absolutely terrible as well. This is about as far as it goes, and my dual rate is turned all the way up. I have a feeling they probably did that on purpose, because if it goes any further, it's gonna start rubbing against the wing nuts, and it's gonna start rubbing against the shocks on the other side. You can see too, when you turn sometimes, it makes the body lean. It surely does not help its topple happiness. The flex is decent, the climbing capabilities are pretty good.
That's mostly due to the tires.
If it didn't tip so easily, it would be a lot better. It does look like all 4 shocks are leaking now. I mean, when you compare it to this thing, which absolutely dwarfs this MN model, even this dude didn't get over all those rocks perfectly easily, but it sure stayed planted better. And you can tell this one has a narrower stance. It just looks kind of funny, especially with that bumper broken off. Now that dude's pretty expensive, but if you can swing it, I highly recommend it. And as far as the same size comparison, this would be my favorite 1/10 scale so far. I mean, it costs a bit more money, but really, that's gonna be worth it in the long run. I wouldn't call this absolutely awful, but I definitely don't recommend getting it if you can swing something better.
This was one of the funnest videos I've ever made, which I've got right here. I've got another crawler on the way that's even bigger that a lot of people are pretty excited about, and once that video's done, I'll have it here. Oh, and if you haven't seen it yet and you're interested in that bigger Jeep, it's here.
Got the bumper reattached, sort of. I think they could have done so much better with what they had. I don't know, maybe they just need to start completely over and do something that's actually worth what they're asking.